welcome back to the Corporate Talk. And the talk today is with Natayra Santos. She's a front-end developer and she has a very rich story in different career paths. And this is what we are going to explore in the talk today. Is our career always the same line, or can we take different roads and learn while we do different experiments or different activities? And welcome, Natayra. We're very happy to have you here. And Natayra, can you start introducing yourself, telling a little bit more about what you do and have done so far?
Yes, hi, thank you so much for having me. My name is Natayra. I'm very nervous, first of all. I'm 34 years old. I was born in Brazil, but I grew up in Portugal. And now I have been living in Zurich, in Switzerland for the past 6 years. At the moment, I work remotely as a software developer, as you mentioned, in the front end part of the software for a blockchain startup. Although I have been writing code professionally for about 5 years now, I had many, many different jobs and experiences throughout my life. And I think that's what we are going to approach later in this conversation. So I'll not give too much detail.
Oh, very nice. And now I'm very curious. So maybe let's start from there. If we look to your LinkedIn, we see that you're front-end developer and you have been
Yeah.
working in this path in the last years. But what people are not seeing in your LinkedIn, what are the secret things or the different topics that you worked already that made a different path or show so diversity in your experience?
Yeah, I think I don't even know if I can actually make a list of everything I already did as a job, a gig, or to have money. Um, Also, I did some volunteering. That's for sure not for this list. But so I since I was 16, I think I have been working. So I worked in cleaning. I did some house and office cleanings. I did some call center selling and also customer support. I also work as broker support, insurance brokers support in an insurance company. I already gave some cleaning and organization classes. I think the most unusual thing I did was being a model, a hair model,
Wow, nice.
for a hairdresser's seminar. They were basically cutting and dyeing my hair in a very random way for a live audience. So I think that was the funniest thing I did. I had very long hair, very natural at the time, and they just paid me to demonstrate what they needed to demonstrate. That was very cool. So yeah, I have been doing very different things. I also worked in a restaurant. So very different things throughout my life to support not only my studies but also to make some money as a career when I couldn't find what I wanted in life.
Yeah, interesting. And Natayra, can you share a little bit of what you have learned in all of this experience? Because making one activity like cleaning and then later as a model and then later as a code programmer, so it's so many diversity. And do you have a vision of what you have learned with so much random activities, what it has brought to you?
I mean, I can say that I learned a lot. Of course, you never know where is the line between what you learn in your personal life and what you learn professionally. But I would say that dealing with different kinds of people in different positions, with different backgrounds, different educations, it doesn't mean that you also don't deal with different backgrounds on a corporate life. But usually you tend to work with people that are similar to you when you work in those environments in terms of background and education and knowledge. But yeah, when you have different jobs in different positions with different people, you learn a lot about people. I think that's the main one. Um, and then I think also um, sometimes. you can have the best ideas when you don't work in the same thing all the time, because you have different inputs, you have different perspectives, different way of seeing the world, which also helps a lot in life in general.
I agree. I'm I'm also thinking here a thought about this richness. We never have these clear paths, right? We when we go to school, then we don't know. We have some dreams what we're going to do, but then sudden life brings different ways. Was the same for you? Did you had a clarity what you wanted, or life was bringing the opportunities to you? So
I never knew what I wanted. I still don't, to be honest. I still finding out, which I think it's very okay at this
it's very
moment.
okay. Exactly.
um, but yeah, no, I never had a clear path. Of course, there's always pressure and things that people say, if you want this, you should do that and this. But again, it's always the society voices and not what you want. And that's what I try to find out, especially now that I'm a little bit older. I always try to find out what I want. If I'm happy here, what can I do that would improve my condition? Because yeah, we are always changing. We are always finding new things that we like. We're always finding new professions that we would like to try, or new skills or new stuff. So yeah, I really
Yeah.
think that's the way for me.
More a profound topic now, because do you believe this is also something of the new generation? So I'm a bit older than you,
Mhm,
but the new generation that in the past people lived for work. We still see that in some
mhm,
cultures that people live for work, and work is that thing, is the most important thing. And now comes the generation questioning ourselves, is this my life is really about working only, or work should have a meta meaning, right? This
mhm.
merge of life quality, of meaning, of value. I think maybe
Yeah.
this is opening up in the new generation in a different sense of view about work, right? It's not about sitting in a chair and being in the chair 8 9 hours per day and going home paying the bills and not feeling this, waking up one day and say, hey, what am I doing?
Yeah, with my
Right.
life, yeah, totally.
uh,
But I feel you always have two kinds of people. You have the people that love their jobs and would work uh, as much as they can because they really enjoy and they really see that as living life. And you have other people that don't love their job so much, that do that because we are in a society and we have to contribute somehow. And especially for those people, but also for the people that love their jobs, there should be always a balance. And a balance doesn't mean less hours or more days or less days. It means something that works for each one of us. So I think some people will be okay sitting 8 hours and then having the rest of the time free. Other people would prefer to work, I don't know, 2 3 days very intensely and then having the rest of the week free so they can do some other stuff. And some people really don't mind working and then just going home and having less time. So it's like it really depends from person to
Depends.
person, I
Yeah,
think.
true. And I have the impression of the generations as well. The new ones are bringing a different view of life and work balance, right?
Yeah, because I think especially the corporate world treats everyone the same way, and we are all very different. So we have different needs. So I think what the newest generations are trying to bring is like more looking to the person and not just to the numbers, and
True.
individualizing the experience and trying to make everyone happy in their way.
That's true. That's true. And let's talk about this traditional career mode. You
Hmm.
study one topic, you work in that topic, your whole life is always linear. Um, have you ever thought that maybe this model didn't fit to you and you always had to reinvent yourself? Do you feel this? Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And I'm pretty sure it's not an unique experience. I think a lot of people sometimes feel like that. especially because the traditional paths are not for everyone. In fact, they are only accessible for very few if we really think about it, looking at the whole world. And of course, if you are not lucky enough to have the right environment, the right background, to have a college degree, to have extracurricular experiences, to learn languages and all of that, the traditional path can be really, really hard to follow.
True.
So it doesn't matter how much skills, how much will, how much smartness you have. Um, Sometimes it's just not possible to follow the traditional path. And I think that's a common thing and should be embraced more often.
Yeah, and in my view, actually, when you have such a broader experience, you're bringing so much diversity in your vision and the way of thinking and new ideas that all the companies need new ideas and different thoughts. So I think this brings even more value, right? Than the same
Yeah.
person who is used to the same process for the whole life, not doing anything different. Yeah.
I also think that, but I also think the problem is that companies, it's becoming harder and harder to hire people because there are so many skilled, talented, willing people in the world. We are
That's
more and
true.
more. So it's harder and harder for companies to hire people, and they still use outdated systems like the CV system, or even the interviews are very old school way to measure skills and qualifications, which always have the default the traditional path. Um,
Wow, that's a different interesting topic about CV and the robots. Right now there are robots evaluating CVs and that's true. If you don't write, even that you have even more capabilities for that role, that challenge. But if you didn't write the right words that the robot is looking for, you can be the best, but you're out of the game. Yeah.
yeah, and maybe you even have some skills that the recruiters don't even know that they could use, but you don't even have how to show that, or how to be tested for that, because that you can only see it when you're actually working and when you're actually part of a team. So I think there are a lot of improvements to be done in the recruitment world, and in the traditional what is the traditional path, what is the traditional way of hiring people these days.
Okay, interesting. And a question: is there something you have learned in outside your corporate life in a different career you
Hmm.
have that you bring today, currently, to your current experiences and challenges?
I think a lot of things for sure, but things like time management, I think for sure, because at some point I had to manage two jobs plus a part time plus college plus uh, playing basketball plus having a social life and friends. So I think that's for sure. And also, I think there are things that you cannot explain as a skill, but understanding the world in general, understanding that there are different people with different understandings of something, that it's very useful, especially in the UI UX of software, that not everybody will have the same common sense than you. Not everybody will have the same skills of understanding, of seeing. Also, accessibility, that sometimes people cannot see, cannot hear. I think all of those kind of experiences with different people, different needs, kind of made me more aware in my job, not just the one I'm doing now, but all of them, that not everybody fits in a box. And that's sometimes it's easy to think about all of those cases, and it makes a difference for them.
Yeah, interesting. Now let's go to the tip. So if there's somebody watching here that was brought to this video exactly because they're feeling stuck in their career because it's not following the the line they had imagined, and they're making different things beyond what they have planned or doesn't seem normal, do you have any tips or recommendations for them? Yeah.
I mean, I think the number one recommendation that really changed the game for me was connections. Talk with people, put yourself out there, because we all know, as you just mentioned, that robots are reviewing CVs, and the CV you can put just a certain amount, and even what you put, sometimes you don't know how to structure or you don't use the right words, all of that. But when you actually talk with people, when you go out there, you ask for help. And this is something that I also learned how to do, because especially in the professional field, it's very hard for us to be vulnerable and put ourselves out there and ask for people's help, uh, as mentors, with references, feedback, advice, whatever they can give you. And most people are actually willing to help, and they feel good to actually help someone with the feedback or advice or a reference. So I think that would be the number one: connect with people, talk with people, don't be shy, don't be embarrassed, and ask for help, of course, in a very mature way. Just expose your situation, what you need, and maybe there is a lot of people that would be willing to help you.
That's nice. That's really nice. And I I have learned one time about we don't need to know everything. We just need to know the people, right? The not the right people. And maybe here is also a key, right? We don't need. It's impossible to know everything. Now we have
Uh-huh.
AI, so AI knows everything, but
But still, AI don't know everything. AI don't know how to deal with people.
exactly, exactly.
So I think that's the biggest flaw of AI, if you ask me. It's that doesn't matter how much information they have, they are not humans.
Exactly. They would never be, hopefully. And Natayra, to close, if you would go back in time to your beginning of your school times, your youth, and give some recommendation or something to say to the young Natayra. You're still young, but the early young.
Yeah.
What would you say?
First of all, start dyeing your hair younger. Because I always had this in my mind that I shouldn't change my image. I should look a certain way because that's how I would get jobs, how I would fit in the corporate world or even in the world in general. And the truth is, doesn't matter how you look, doesn't matter, do whatever you want to do, dye your hair, do the tattoos, do whatever. Because at the end of the day, the companies are the people that would not hire you because of how you look. You don't want to work there anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Very
that's
nice.
my number one rule in life right now. And also, uh, don't, this is a cliche, but it's true. Don't let anyone, not even yourself, tell you that you are not good enough and you cannot do it, you can never make it. Um, because where you are right now, the job you have, the education you have, the skills you have, doesn't define your worth. At the end of the day, we have to think that a job is a job. It's not who you are. It's something that you do. It can be an important part of your life. It can be a part of your personality, but it's not who you are. So you can do it. You can do better. You can do different. You can, yeah, just don't let that put you down, and keep going. Eventually, you're going to find your way and you're going to make it.
Wow, that's very valuable. Wow, that really touching. Thank you. I think everyone needs to listen that. Everyone needs to write it down. Myself, I need to write it down. I'm not my work.
It's true, and also don't be too hard on yourself
Yeah.
because it's everybody's first time living, and we don't have all the answers, and we are just finding out, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's true. Wow, Natayra, thank you so much for sharing so much knowledge, so much inspiration. Thank you for
Thank
sharing a
you.
bit of your life and your career with us. And it was really fun talking to you. Thank you so much for
Same.
being part. And I'm also happy to let you know, you who are watching here, the Corporate Talk, that Natayra will be our new host in the channel. So you will see some videos with Natayra hosting some other guests to share some insights for you. So
Yes.
welcome officially to the Corporate Talk. I'm very happy to have you as host as well.
Thank you. I'm very excited about it to talk with very interesting people with different insights or the same. Let's see. That would be awesome.
Thank you, Natayra. Then we will see us.
Yes. Thank
Bye.
you.